Pay your people well. Pay your people so well that they don't look around, that they don't have leaders or indicators of who's offering them anything else in the field. And believe me, in the last 6 months, I've had people trying to poach some of my senior staff. And I say to the boys, you've got a choice in the morning. When you wake up, you come to work, or you go work for somewhere else. But I know that I pay my people so well. We've got a beautiful culture. We treat them well. And look what's happening to our business, Joe. Our business is growing out of control.
So, Gerald, thank you for being a return guest on the Jim's Mowing and Jim's Group podcast. Your video was well received last time, and a lot of people got a lot of good insights from your interview. It's always great to have someone who's doing such good revenue numbers share their business insights, because a lot of people want to be in your position. But you've got a bit of an update for us, which when you told me the figures, I thought, gee whiz, we've got to get you on again. So if you want to share it, do you want to just talk about the revenue you're on track for and how you've gone with your best month?
Yeah, sure we can. Good morning, Joel, and good morning to everyone who's going to look at this or look at this podcast. Our business has absolutely exploded in the last 6 months, and we'll talk about some of the changes we've applied into our business. But for last month was our record month at $194,000 for the month turnover, give or take a few dollars. And what makes it really challenging is I've got 5 full-time employees, and each one of them had a week leave. So I was one man down, and we got a casual staff member that we used for the month, but the team pulled together so well, and it was effortless. Coming to the end of the month, I said to my wife, I've got no idea how we got to the numbers. I don't know how we got to the numbers, but the numbers add up, and it's all there, and it's all recorded, and our customer feedback is still at a 5% consistently. Our customers are happy, and our business is booming. Our turnover it's growing.
It's amazing. Well done, because that figure is quite astounding. I don't think people realise you can do that sort of revenue with the Jim's Mowing and Gardening franchise, but that's absolutely amazing. So what contributed to that massive month? Then is it just getting more efficient in your business, or how are you getting to that figure?
I think the first thing to recognise is our team efficiency, and we've got a senior gentleman who's helping me with a lot of the operational work. His name is Joe, and his contribution to the team, for that team cohesiveness and everyone pulling together and taking ownership of what they do. And we always talk about business comes from the top, leadership comes from the top. And as business leaders and motivators to inspire the right behavior and culture within our businesses is the hardest thing, Joel, because you've got to be consistent. And unfortunately, as a good leader, you're not always everyone's best friend with your decision making, and you're not always on par with everyone else's thinking. And we've got a very unique, as entrepreneurs, we already have a very unique style of thinking, but it comes down to team effectiveness. It comes to the strength of my team. It comes to how well we pull together, and the culture we have grown within our business to make people accountable for their actions, but also to reward people on positive actions. And at the end of the day, to create an incentive program where the more we strive, the more we grow, the more we incentivize our staff, and everyone gets a part of that big portion, not just the head of the ladder. We are, in our business, our culture is to continuously share the profit with our team on their bonus scales. And that, again, motivates behavior, it motivates culture, it motivates discipline. At the end of the day, we all work for money. People are, I'm sure my guys are here, and they all like working with me, and they think I'm a wonderful leader. No, they don't. They think I'm a wonderful guy. But at the end of the day, people are here for money. And if we recognize and reward people financially, and they can see that value and benefit, that a certain behavior results in financial contribution to their income, it creates the right culture and motivation. And I spoke about this in the last podcast. Pay your people well. Pay your people so well that they don't look around, that they don't have blinkers or indicators of who's offering them anything else in the field. And believe me, in the last 6 months, I've had people trying to poach some of my senior staff. And I say to the boys, you've got a choice in the morning. When you wake up, you come to work, or you go work for somewhere else. But I know that I pay my people so well. We've got a beautiful culture. We treat them well. And look what's happening to our business, Joe. Our business is growing out of control. Let me say this to all of the gyms operators. In the last 5 months, we have pulled close to $1 million in turnover for 5 months. Our prediction for our business in the next 12 months is between $1.5 to $2 million. For someone who runs, let's say, 3 trailers in a gym's operation with 5 full-time staff members and myself, it is out of this world. It is crazy. So coming back to your question, what contributed to this mass influx? It is team effectiveness. It is all of our team players pulling together and owning their position in our business.
Does your bonus incentive then work then? Are you doing it as a team or are you doing it per individual basis? How did you set that up?
Well, it works per individual basis. Obviously, our senior guy, he gets a bigger portion than everyone else. And then what we do is we scale depending on our weekly turnovers and efficiency, customer feedback, productivity, making sure you turn up for work on time, being work ready and work focused, and customer feedback and outcomes. All of that comes together into a pool, and everyone gets allocated points. And based on that point system is what scale on the bonus scale do you fall on.
Yeah, that's a good thing. That's what I asked you. So you're taking in multiple factors at the end of the week based on the turnover.
Oh, yeah.
You're making a decision based on multiple factors for it.
See, we used to run a point system. I think I spoke about this before. You got 3 points in the beginning of the month, and it allows people to make mistakes and grow. And if we make mistakes as senior people, they pick us up, they gain a point, but it didn't really give them the recognition and acknowledgement for financial contribution. Now we've got a scale, and in that scale, the more you deliver, the more you contribute, the more you own, the better outcomes we have collectively as a team. There's a scale rating, and on the scale rating, you get remunerated accordingly, and therefore it is financially beneficial in your interest to have the right mindset, the right culture, the right attitude when you come to work every day.
Now, let's outline for people, because people will go, geez, how are you generating that much work for yourself, or how are you pricing jobs, all that sort of information. So the work levels, you obviously got no problem generating work. Is it just from doing great job, referral, or how are you getting?
So Joe, at the moment, we average between 280 and 350 jobs a week.
Wow.
And I spoke to people about this in the past. If you don't have a walker, get a walker. So we now have 4 machines for 2 trailers, maybe 3 trailers, depending on what vehicles we take and how we shuffle out our utilities. You know, we've always got a walker on standby. Say 1 walker's in for a service with Danny, any other trailer still got a walker. I've got enough equipment now that I can pull an additional trailer and drag whipperslippers or hedges or chainsaws from one trailer and push it onto another trailer, and we can create bigger, better, more faster. So we've really invested into our business for equipment, for having the right utilities to pull from, having the right resource to pull from, making sure our vehicles are serviced, operational. We don't have downtime on our equipment and service. I've got a gentleman who comes to the yard every 2 weeks now, Saturday, and he services anything. My trailers go to Dale for services regularly. My brakes get serviced, my vehicles get serviced, my equipment is serviced. Joel, in the last 6 months, we have spent over $100,000 in buying more equipment, buying more machinery to service our equipment better. We have invested so much additional capital to make our operation more streamlined and smooth running, and it is paid back. So reinvesting back into our business is part of our success, because we're not looking at a now business, we're looking at what this is going to look like in the next 12 months from now.
It's a great point. I want to take you back in the early days. That's something where you think a lot of franchisees might struggle to scale, is that it's find it hard to reinvest into getting the walker or something, because it can be quite scary in your first year or 2 years to have that big amount come out. Do you think that's a big problem for stopping people from scaling, is actually them investing back in their business? Or
I think it is. I think it comes to risk, and people are scared to run the risk. Now, if I can say to you, we don't finance. We work, we save, we budget, we plan, and then we execute. We buy our equipment cash. My wife and I, we don't finance. We buy things cash. Every operation, any machinery, operational machinery that we have in our shed, we own. So what we do is, for the first 2 years, Joel, if I say to you, we ate bread and baked beans and drink water, that is what we do. We absolutely slave in order to get to our dream vision. We slave to create this gym's experience to become not just a business, but a lifestyle for us. There's 2 things you have to do. You have to reinvest into your business. It depends on what level of success the individual wants. Not everyone wants my passion and my dream, and together with that, not everyone wants my stress. My wife's stressed for making sure that she schedules 350 jobs a week, effectively, with minimum time, downtime on traveling. We've got so many jobs clustered together that my staff don't have time to eat a sandwich from one job to the next job and they're out. In some of the jobs, we don't even load the machine. We drive the machine down the road to the next house and one person just drives the truck down. So we look at effective scheduling. That is such a key. My wife is such a champion in that environment. Like, she schedules us well. We give the staff good equipment. We've reinvested back into the business. And believe me, the customers just comes through. The customer feedback comes through. Every single time when my phone blinks and I get that updated customer survey, it's not just now where people put a 5-star rating. They can't put enough of the comments down in how well they've received our staff, the culture, the values, the discipline, the manners that my staff have, and the way that they conduct themselves on a customer's premises, to having that influx and that stability in our business.
Well, that's like a very basic question, but how did you pick up more customers in those streets? Was it something where you went and dropped stuff in, or because there's a lot of people want to be more efficient, but they don't do it?
We have a golden rule in our trailers. Whenever a customer walks past you, we stop equipment and everyone say hello. Everyone greets the customer. We start engaging a conversation with the customer. Even if it's not a customer who isn't directly in that street, everyone stop and say hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Uniform is very important for us, making sure everyone presents well, shaven, clean, nice, neat, tidy, clean uniforms. We greet the customer, so we immediately create a connection. If the staff is working and the neighbors outside, they've got the direction from Joe and myself, where we would say, hey, good afternoon, how are you? Good morning, how are you? Is there maybe anything we can do for you guys? Like, we just work next door. The amount of work we have picked up from socially engaging with customers, neighbors, customers who live in that same street, or just a random person walking down the road. People come back and say, hey, sorry, have you got a business card? Can you give me a business card? Thank you for greeting me. Thank you for saying hello. We take the time to recognize potential customers. And then we apply the discipline and we apply the behavior that's going to give us an opportunity to make that a customer that we could potentially quote for.
That's very simple, but I don't think a lot of franchisees do it enough. And I've been out on a few down the roads with franchisees, and I've been with franchisees who do exactly what you said. And what I've noticed is the customer or the person who's walking by will then stop and then turn around and go back and ask them for a card. And it happened multiple times. So it's a really basic thing, but I don't think enough franchisees understand the importance of it. And it just shows you how that little basic action can help pick up more jobs in that street or closer to the area and make you more efficient.
People have to stop thinking as, I'm a gardener, I'm here to mow someone's lawn or do their hedges. We have to think as entrepreneurs, and an entrepreneur's mindset is, what opportunity can I create to create impact into my business? And we as franchisees have to think broader. If I say to the general person on the street today, Joel, that my gym's business is turning over $2 million, they can't understand it, they can't comprehend it, they can't fathom it. If you said to me, 4 years ago, you're going to create an opportunity with your gym's franchise where you're going to turn $2 million for the year, I would say to you, man, you're crazy, because we didn't understand it. But the right disciplines, and mate, we make mistakes. I listened to a podcast Jim did the other day, and he spoke about some of the mistakes he's made in business. We make mistakes, Joel. We make mistakes every week. We make mistakes every month. I've made mistakes with employees. I've made mistakes with customers. I've made mistakes in my business, but we are never too big to learn, and we are never too big to evolve. And we have a discipline in our business that no one is bigger than the business. And we are not arrogant. We are open-minded. We are happy to learn from experiences, and we apply those disciplines into our business. And in our business, it's not about I'm sitting above this person or the next person and they can't. My staff will say to me, Gerald, like, think about it. What do you think about this option? Maybe there's a broader spectrum thinking about where your mind is going. So we constantly challenge each other on a level where we're trying to evolve and improve behavior versus just streaming direction down to the staff members based on what we think. And I'm only out in the field 1 or 2 days a week now. The rest of the time I have to quote, because if I don't quote very aggressively, I don't keep my business driving and moving forward. But those days that I am in the field with my staff, they've got no problem being open-minded and coming to me and say, hey, I think there's a better solution to this problem than what you recommended. Let's talk about it and let's see if we can table it. And you know what? Hand on my heart, I've learned from my staff. I've learned from their impact, even from the young apprentice who work with us, all the way up to my senior guy. We are never bigger than the business. We're never too big to learn and to evolve in an opportunity that's going to challenge our intellect in order to progress and to move forward.
And my next question was going to be, you sort of touched on it then, was how do you actually structure your week? Because to have a business nearly generating $2 million revenue, you'd be pulled in a lot of directions. And you mentioned you're in the field a couple of days a week, which is great. And then you said the rest of your time you're just spending on quoting. So what else are you? How do you manage your week?
So for us, we meet in the shed every morning at 6:15 with my staff and I. We have a toolbox meeting every single morning. And then, John, our first point of business is a respect for each other. That's the first thing we speak about every single day. What is our respect for each other? What is our discipline for each other? And then we talk about the schedule for the day, the challenges that we might face, operational equipment impact or challenges that we might experience or that the team have experienced, and how we share some troubleshooting with what the team the last couple of days have dealt through, and we get an input. And then from there, the teams will go out in their directions. We try and schedule our bigger jobs earlier in the week, and then our multiple mowing jobs from Wednesday to Friday, where they would just pound out suburbs by suburbs by suburbs. And depending on how the week falls or the customer's availability, where we can schedule, it depends on how I apply myself. But the rest of the time, it's following up with our corporate businesses. I've got a very close connection with our corporate clientele because they are very hands-on in their operations. And obviously, the cost center for them is very important. So we follow up with them at these big opportunities for growth and movement with the big commercial side. So I touch base with them a lot. And then it's just driving around, networking, going to network meetings, talking to networking, talking to leaders, talking to other business people. Like we've got one corporate business, we've now grown 6 or 7 other corporate businesses from them because they are based in a network. So we try and tap into every opportunity or avenue to create more business or to get the word out there about how amazing Jim's Crispy it is. So we then go from there, and then it's some days I've got 5 quotes, some days I've got 20 quotes. So other than our leads coming through the Jill system, I get 30 to 40 phone calls a day from people to say, you used to work for us in the past, or my neighbor, or my cousin, or my brother, or my sister. Someone gave me your business card. Please, can you come and quote? Because now they're quoting they're getting a quote from a relationship with discipline, a relationship with historical behavior. They send me a message, I message back. They know when they phone, I phone back. They know when I say I'm going to be there, I turn up. The biggest complaint we get in the industry now is people say they're going to turn up and they never turn up. Tradies don't turn up. We turn up. We have evolved our in-house systems to such a protocol now. The software system we use, even phone record, take phone calls and record the phone call. So if we get into an opportunity where there's a confusion of what we promised the customer or what the customer requested from us, when Melita did the scheduling, she can then put all of those notes into the customer file, and the staff reads those notes when we get on hand. We can reflect back to it to see if there's a customer feedback that's not so favorable for us. We can see where do we miss that opportunity and how can we grow. So systems is such a strong point. But other than systems, make sure you network. Make sure you speak to people. Take the time to stop. Sometimes we are so busy with our head down on our stuff, we forget to look at the bigger picture. Look at the bigger picture, people. Don't get stuck in the moment. I remember my first month when I came on board. Ian Hollis was my franchisor, and God, I love him. He's the most amazing, inspirational business guy. And I remember sitting at the table and I said to Ian, Ian, do you think I will make $15,000 for the month in my first month? Because that's what I needed to get to pay the mortgage, to pay my staff member that started with me full time, and for me to at least have a little bit of money, not to eat baked beans, bread, and water, but to have now $15,000 a month to $194,000 a month. It is insane. You can't even do the math on it. I tell you, from a percentage-wise, it's crazy. But apply the right disciplines. And if you want your business to grow, network. Unfortunately, you can only do so many quotes. And because, especially for us, I quote really high. I don't quote low. I'd rather have, and then Ian taught me this discipline, I'd rather quote 10 jobs at $100 than have $100 jobs at $10. I don't quote low. I quote very high. And for us in Grace, I'm very high. So let's say I only get about 60% of the quotes that I do. I'm successful in that 60%. I make sure that 60% is worthwhile. But I cannot generate the turnovers that I'm turning with the amount of quotes. It doesn't equate. It's impossible. You're going to quote 7 days, 24 hours a day. You need to create a system further than now. You need to create a system of networking. You need to create a system of value and trust. When people think gyms, they think trust. When people think gyms, they think consistency. We need to live and drive that consistency through our behaviors. And when people, 15, 20, 30, 40 people pick up the phone in the summertime, it's insane. I'll walk with these things permanently now because I go from one phone call to the next, and there's just people saying, Gerald, please, you got a reputation. You're my brother, cousin, neighbor, someone on the street using you. I saw the van. The boys gave me a business card. They stopped and said, hello, let's come and do business with me. That's immediate opportunities onto our front doorsteps. And I don't pay for that. For the last 2 months, when my business turnover has really just exploded, I very rarely had my leads on, if at all. It's generated from the business structure we have created in our business. It is generated from the culture and the discipline we have created in our business and the trust we give to our clients to say that we're going to do everything we can to satisfy every need you have, and we're going to have the right disciplines in place. Whenever you look at a podcast of Jim, he's so passionate. He's so passionate still today. He delivers a message with so much detail. As a franchisee, I'm as disciplined and I'm as passionate, if not more, because I see Jim's focus. I see Ian and John. John is now our franchisor, and what a marvelous man. But I see John's discipline. I see my structure's discipline that I've involved and invested money into the jail structure. And we try and we apply those same disciplines and the same cultural behaviors and what we see from a business that we invest in, and look at the way it's working for us, Joel.
That's amazing what you've done. But I want to you mentioned something a few times, which I want you to outline a little bit more for franchisees. So I don't think enough of the mowing and gardening guys do it, is the networking side of it. So is there any specific networking groups you went to, or do you want to just talk about what you may just give a bit more detail around networking? Because I don't think enough franchisees do it enough.
Yeah, see, for us, we used to go to this Brisbane Business Network group.
Yep.
Where you get to meet some people, and they're really good. But again, it's such a broad spectrum of people who goes to these meetings. When I say networking, I'm saying when you're walking in your Bunnings, make sure you greet and meet people, shake hands with people, walk on a weekend. I live in my business shirt. I'll go to a wedding in my business shirt just to generate business out of it. Yeah. So we wherever we go, we are in our business shirts.
Yeah.
Talk. Don't be scared to talk to people. And if it's at Bunnings, if it's at the timber yard, if it's customers in the street, if it's anyone pulling up in a tradie van, greet them, say hello to them. For me, the smaller networking groups was great, and you'll pick up some really good contacts to them. But they didn't service me the way I wanted it to service. Networking for me is stop in the moment, be in the moment, talk to customers in that moment, share with them. Say, hey, where do you live? You live close by, great stuff. There's my business card. Next time you need something, phone Jim. You know me, you know Jim's, we're quality program. I sell the quality program. We guarantee quality. No one else there in the field guarantees quality. And if you don't get quality, there's a system to back you up. So why do you want to go to an untrusted system instead of having a trusted, reliable, valuable, guaranteed system to back you up? Customers love that. Network with the customers. Every opportunity you get, network. Be in the moment, people. Don't worry about the bills. Don't worry about what's happening at home. Don't worry about what we're going to do next week. Live in the moment now with your business, with your staff, with your customers, with your values, and share, betray that values out to customers when you network with them, and it's going to benefit your business.
And you mentioned as well basic quality. So how do you deal with? You mentioned about the program. So how do you deal with that? Like, obviously you quite will higher in your area. So how are you dealing with any price objections, or how do you get those across the lines, or is there something you do before giving the quote, or how do you win those?
We ask customers the question. If we don't win the quote, we'll ask the customer, can you please share with us why you went with someone else versus us? A lot of people just don't want to talk about it, and they just say, no, not interested, thank you. And a lot of people do share with us, and they say, hey, Gerald, we thought your price for building a fence is too high. Or, Gerald, we thought your price for a detailed yard cleanup is too high. And we've had opportunities where through that feedback that we get from customers, where we go out and we sell the next deal, we try and be more disciplined by explaining to the customer why we're charging a certain rate, not just throwing a number out of the air. I'll give you an example, Joe. I sell my team now. 5 staff members go to a customer's house for an entire day and clean the entire property. We charge $3,500 plus GST. From 7 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I've got my staff members going to someone's house, and they pay for the green waste removal on top of that. To go to a customer and to say to him, hey, we're going to charge you $3,500 with GST, $3,850. People go, are you crazy? We don't get any knockbacks for them. And when I go there, I sit the customer down and I show them how many staff members you're getting, how many hours of work are you getting, what tools, what equipment are we bringing, how long will it take you to spend 40 or 48 hours a week or in the next month on your garden, and how are we going to get it up to scale quicker, faster, better, more efficient with the right team. My guys are not part-time gardeners. My guys are not working at the retail store, and my guys are 5 full-time gardeners. That is what we do. That is our job. That is our profession. That is our experience. You're not just buying someone to work in your garden or Henry. You're buying the culture. You're buying the experience. You're buying the confidence in the program, part of that quality outcomes, quality assurance program. But more than that, we explain to people the breakdown of how do we get to those figures. And once you give people the what inside of the why, they understand it. People want to spend that level of money to upgrade their property and to create a better outcome. People's got no hesitation in spending that money with you.
Yeah, no, it's great to hear that, because the reason why I asked it, because a lot of people I don't think do that, or they don't get the feedback about why they didn't win a quote as well, because it can be hard to ask why you didn't win something, but that feedback can be invaluable to...
It's such a key part. We just, in business, we just go, oh, okay, don't worry, we're not worried about that feedback, don't worry about it, close that door. No, stop for a moment. Remember, be in the moment. You want to be in the moment. So just say, hey, thank you, and we understand we didn't win this job. Can you please tell us where did we fall over? Share with us. Be as brute honest as you can. Tell us where we fell over, and then we can learn from it, and we can come across. We're not going to change our price. There's no way I'm changing my price. Forget about it. But I'm going to be more transparent with my customer to share the what inside of the why in order for them to understand. And let me tell you, we've had opportunities where customers say, so sorry, Gerald, you didn't win the quote. Or I'll say, please explain it to me. They'll explain it to me. I said to her, do you mind if I can break that area down for you a little bit and tell you why? And they're like, oh, yeah, tell us why. And then now we're measuring apples to apples, what we're going to offer to the customer versus what the competitor's going to offer. And customers have got, actually, hey, hang on, I didn't realize you're getting this. The other person is not getting that. Actually, Gerald, I want to change my rule. I want to go with you. So through asking better questions and networking with our people, we have evolved our learnings in order to improve outcomes.
I love it. And that's the, I don't think enough people do it. And that's why I asked that specifically, because we'll put this on the internet. I'm going to clip that out. I'll put that on there because I think it's a great bit of advice. Now, from the meetings, you obviously speak with a lot of other franchisees in your region who probably aspire to be like you. What stops them from scaling or to getting to the level? Like a lot of people will go, yeah, well, I have $1 million revenue business, but they don't know how, or they can't progress past, let's say, 200 or 300K revenue. So what do you think are the main blockers for people, let's say, other mowing, gardening franchisees, other maybe franchisees in general, from them scaling to the point where they want to scale to or get even close or to a level where you're at?
People are scared to look embarrassed in front of their peers because of their lack of business knowledge. You know, in our pod with Jim and with John and with Ian, we've had a couple of franchisees that came on board that is beautiful gardeners, but they struggle with the business essence. They struggle with the business component, the scheduling or the quoting. And, you know, between my wife and myself, we've got 3 or 4 people who come to us on a very regular basis, and we do coaching sessions with them and we don't charge for it. They meet with us 6 o'clock in the morning. 6 o'clock in the morning, my wife and I are in the office with them, and we talk about coaching programs. We talk about coaching behavior. We talk about our wins and successes and how we can influence and involve them. I had a gentleman who turned over $1,500 a week. He's been with Jim 4 years. He now turns over $10,000 a week.
Wow.
It's nothing well, but for him and his role, this has changed his whole existence. But he was so embarrassed to open up about his weaknesses. See, we as people, we as entrepreneurs, we think when we buy a business, we have to know it all. You can't ask a question because then you're going to look incompetent. I would rather look incompetent and learn and have better outcomes. Our people are too scared. I sat with Ian and with John, and I said, between Scott Little, he's a champion, Kenny, all of these old school boys who's really beautiful and amazing, who's been around a long time. Remember, I always say, every podcast we do, listen to your franchisees that's been around. Talk to the old boys. They've done it. They've made the mistakes. Why do we not want to talk to them about the mistakes and not reinvent the wheel? Why do we want to make the same mistakes? Because we're too embarrassed. So I always say to people, trust your experience. Talk to your experience. I say to Gerald, let's have a development pool within our region. Let's talk about, this is the 5 guys. If you struggle with operations and equipment, there's no one Scott Little. No one knows his equipment better than Scott Little. That guy is a maniac. We've got so many valued people. Like for me, and I'm not saying this to boost anything. And remember, I've got my master's in business. I've got 32 qualifications before I joined Jim. I've got 4 degrees in business management. I understand the profile of business management. I think I'm the most experienced Jim Mowing guy out there, But at the end of the day, we've got all this knowledge, Joel, that we can share. People are too embarrassed to get out of their comfort zone or to get out of their little, I'm the business owner, I need to do everything mindset and go, hey guys, I don't know. Can someone please help me? We've never said no to anyone in our pod. If people phone me and say, Gerald, I'm struggling, we're always happy to help you and me. We've worked with people in the past that struggles to help. But you give them that information. I say, please phone me. Come and sit and talk to me. So, do you know that half the people who phone me and ask for help never even turn up for the meetings that we put out for them because they don't have the discipline to be at my house at 6 o'clock in the morning. I start work at 4 o'clock every morning. 4 o'clock every morning, you can phone me and I'm in front of the computer doing planning, business planning. So we put a time together. We say, if you at 6 o'clock, that's when my wife is up. My household is kind of like on the go. And my wife and I can sit with you at 6 o'clock, from 6 till 8 o'clock in the morning. We can do coaching with you. We can help you. We can systemize your business. We can share some wins and losses. Half the people that schedule meetings with us never even turn up because they don't have the right discipline or they don't have enough respect for themselves and for their businesses. Get out of your comfort zone. Reflect on where your business is at. And not everyone wants a $2 million business. I never wanted a $2 million business, but look at me now. Now I'm today. I want a $4 million business. How am I going to get my Jim's Christmas in the next 12 months to a $4 million business? I'm already planning another a youth with a system on the back of it. And I'm looking at staff development. I'm looking at new employees. My wife is going crazy running up and down the road because it's more systems and quoting, but our business is growing. What values and cultures do I have to put into my business to grow that? Joel, the smallest basic operations of people don't apply those disciplines. And then they blame. They say, and maybe I'm out of my depth now, but they're so quick to blame the gym system. I see all of this media write-ups. This guy borrowed money. This guy lost money. This guy did. The gym's fault. Get off guys and have the discipline and the respect in place to maximize your opportunities. You're buying a system. You're not buying a babysitter. Manage your system. Utilize the strengths around you to maximize your outcomes.
Well, you said it far better than I can, Gerald. You said stuff that I probably can't say, but that's thanks to doing that. No, that's good. I love it.
Because we don't talk about it, and people are so confused. We have to be open to talk about it. And I know from a legal point of view, there's things that you guys can't say. But I can say it. I'm just a franchisee. What they don't do to me, nothing. But my business is working.
I was going to say, though, I want to take you back real quickly. You mentioned something I think, well, thanks for coaching franchisees and being a mentor and stuff. That's fantastic to hear that other franchisees are doing that. But also you mentioned the gentleman who went from $1,500 to $10,000 a week. That's an amazing achievement. Just going back to what you said, was it purely his mindset? Or what was Was it just the mindset as the blocker, literally just changing? You helped him change his mindset and look at things differently. Was there any extra thing, anything else he was doing? It was just literally mindset.
The first thing he said to me when I sat down with him, I said to him, talk to me about how do you let customers know when you're going to turn up? And he goes, normally if I get to Monday night, I message him to say I'll be there on Tuesday. If I go Wednesday, I'll message him on Tuesday night. If I go Thursday, I'll message him on Wednesday night. I'm like, what notice do you give your people to be prepared? They've got change of circumstances in their life. They need to do planning. And he goes, nothing. I'll just message him. And I said, well, how does it work for you? He goes, most of my customers always cancel on me. I said, so what happens? He goes, well, I can't manage this fortnight to get the mowing in because they're not available. So I go next fortnight. And I charge them $100, let's say, for instance, and I haven't been there for 2 or 3 weeks. And now the problem is I've been there for a certain amount of period of time. So the growth is so much more percent. And I just charge them the same amount because I said, but you've got to set better principles in place. So now every Friday, he messages all of his customers to say, this is the schedule for next week. I'm coming on this day, this day, this day, this day. If this day doesn't work with you, please let me know what alternative day or morning or afternoon or evening and that week it's going to work for you. And then I can make the adjustment on my schedule. Now you know where you've got availabilities and openings in your schedule and you can utilize more work. We jam-pack our weeks from Monday to Wednesday. I absolutely kill my schedule from Monday to Wednesday because then the more quotes I get, I just fill in Thursday, Friday. A lot of our franchisees, they schedule some Monday, some Tuesday, some Wednesday, some Thursday, some Friday, and people want openings. The problem is you get a big job that comes through and you've got 3 or 4 smaller pockets of windows of opportunities available late in the week. You can't fill it. You can't take that job. So small disciplines that we've shared with this person, small opportunities that we've shared with this person to have successful winning outcomes has made a change. So can you imagine you get to the end of the month and you've made $6,000. You pay your gym fees, you pay your insurances, and now you've got to pay the mortgage and you've got to make sure you've got a bit of money. The mindset for that person is it's down. He's always under pressure. Now he turns $10,000 a week. He gets to the end of the month, he's got $40,000. Now he paid his gym fees, he's paid his mortgage, and he sits at the end of the month and he's got $25,000 in the bank that he's just saved. What is your mindset? Positive power. Now we're rolling because you're now feeling motivated by your efforts. You're not feeling deflated by your efforts.
It sounds like it's so obvious, but it's not. As you said, being humble as a business owner to ask for help. And this poor gentleman's probably sat there for 4 years, just frustrated and just didn't ask for help. And once you got that little help and that mindset shift from you, look at what he's done. It's amazing. And well done to yourself and to the franchisee.
Well, there's so much pressure in knowing the taxes to pay.
Yeah.
Your legislative compliances, your operational restraints, the challenges of equipment breakdown and failure. We have got so many pressures, and a lot of franchisees get bogged down by those pressures. Be careful we don't, in business and in life, focus on the small things. Focus on the big things, and the smaller things, most of the time, will just iron out. Sometimes we get bogged down by small things. Let's not focus on the smaller behaviors. Let's focus on the bigger actions. And for me, if I don't know, even today, I'm no guru, I'm no one special. I pick up the phone to Scott a little like that, and I talk to him. Or so are the experience and boards. I just keep on throwing Scott's name out there because I've got a very close relationship with him, and he's got 15 years of experience. He gives me 15 years of valued knowledge and experience in order to manage my business from a strength point of view and not making the same mistakes here. How would I not use that? And people are too embarrassed to ask the question. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be scared if you don't ask the question. Rather ask the question and be motivated that you now have the knowledge in order to have a better solution than trying to overcome that stress yourself and get bogged down with more smaller things, John.
Look, it's great advice. And yeah, you're right. People just need to ask. Be humble, get rid of the ego, just ask. Everyone's in the same situation, trying to work things out. No one really knows what they're doing. They're just trying to work things out. And there's always someone who's going to be ahead of you, right? So don't be afraid to ask. And that's the beauty of the Gyms Network is they can call someone like yourself or Scott or other people and just get all that knowledge real quick. We just got to ask. And it's amazing. I just love hearing that $1,500 a week to $10,000 a week, just from speaking to a fellow franchisee, and you were kind enough to help him as well. And that's massively changed his life, I would say, without speaking for him, from just him asking after all that time for a bit of assistance and getting it to help. It's just amazing what you've been able to do.
I was stopping from coming to my house at 6 o'clock on a Thursday morning because he doesn't stop coming. But the behavior, you know, Joel, people are so quick to blame. People are so quick to blame when it doesn't go right. People are so quick to throw stones at our system when it doesn't work. How about you throw a question? I've never, ever heard. And then people can say, all this media, or what I said in the word, all this media jargon that goes around about, you know, systems and structures. Has anyone ever phoned you and say, Joel, I'm struggling in my business. Is there anyone you can connect me with? And you said no?
Never.
If anyone phoned Jim himself, and all of us has got Jim's number, if anyone phones Jim and say, hey, Jim, I'm really struggling in my business. Is there any way you can? Do you think Jim would say no? It's not in his interest to say no. People are so quick to complain. People are so quick to focus on irrelevant subjects in order to hide the lack of knowledge versus throwing good questions. Did this recent media write up about the guy who borrowed all the money and, you know, when did he phone you guys and say, hey guys, I'm really struggling. 6 months, I'm not making money. Let's connect me with someone to make money. Have they done it? No, they don't. But they want all the soft, squishy answers instead of taking the hard reality of getting off your ass and making business work. Do whatever you have to do. And we've got a franchise system for a reason. Manage that system. Follow that system. Ask for help in that system. And you cannot be unsuccessful over the... How many franchises have we got?
More than 5,000 in Australia. We've got 5,500 in total.
Okay, so let's say we've got 5,500 people have decided to invest into this. Jim has made more millionaires in his business than every other business. Why do these people that are so negative and breaking systems, why don't they just pull back and follow the systems and also be successful by asking better questions instead of having the wrong attitude? Remember, I started this conversation today to say attitudes, value, culture, behavior. Let's adapt those business tools in order to strengthen. You go into a franchise, make sure this franchise works back for you and help you. It's not doing the work for you. It's connecting you with people who's got the knowledge and experience and is happy to help streamline you into the right direction.
Look, it's the reason why we do so many podcasts is so people, they do their research and listen to them will realize it's not just going to be a layup. You've got to do the work, and that's the key. Do the work, and the system will propel you to what you've done in 4 years to nearly have a $2 million revenue business in Jim's Mowing is absolutely amazing. It's just a testament when someone like yourself is so proactive and accountable and works his backside off with the brand. Look what you can do. I'm
going to say it again, and you're going to smile from ear to ear when I say it to you. Remember, not 1 hour of one day in my Jim's life have I sat at home and not had work for me and my team. Not 1 hour of one day. Why? Because we have a culture, we have a belief, we have systems, and we have discipline. Manage those opportunities, people, and business will come. Turnover will come. If you only want to be a $10,000 person, that's great. You don't have to be Gerald. You don't have to be Joel. You don't have to be anyone. But don't make soft excuses. And don't let your arrogance in business restrain you from growing into the business opportunity that Jim's can deliver for you.
I think it's a great point. I love that word arrogance because I do think, some people might just think they know everything and they just block everything out. And, Jim's worth however much Jim is, and he listens to me all the time. And it's amazing how someone so wealthy and so well-known in business is willing to listen to someone younger tell them about certain things. I think that's the attitude that he always tries to convey. And you obviously got the same attitude, just learn from everyone, be humble, leave the ego at the door, and ask for help is the key. And a lot of those franchisees in those stories, the reason why we did those podcasts is just to sort of get a bit more detail around it. And when we heard some of those things, that lady was obviously trying to paint a picture. It was very frustrating for us because we know what the system can do, and we know how it's designed to really stop that. We don't get it right. It comes down to more of a selection thing with, in our thing. But yeah, it was very frustrating. I'm glad you said all that sort of stuff. I'd love to have said that as direct and as blunt as you did. But that was great to hear that. Now, real quickly, Gerald, I just want to make it clear for people, $2 million revenue. Jim's going to take 50% of that as his fee, or how much is he going to take of that as his fee?
Mate, not even 0.1%. To be actually clear, I think it'll be about, what do you think, mate? $12,000 for the year? $12,000 for the year, I think I'm going to pay Jim.
Not bad.
$1 million over $12,000 for the system and structure that's going to create you financial freedom, financial stability. But wow.
Well, the only reason I want to ask is there's obviously a lot of funny information about Jim taking 40% or 30%. So I'm going to put that on social media, that clip, and just see the people.
I had my neighbor come and say the same to me a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
You know, oh, you're doing so great. I'm as a Jim taker. And when I tell him, he said, oh, you're lying. It's not true. I'm telling you it's true. Doesn't matter if I make 2 million, if I make 1 million, if I make 100,000, my fees don't change. And it might change proportionally based on how many leads I take. But more leads gives me more opportunity and it gives me better growth. As long as I execute, convert them to customers, and I convert them to ongoing regular customers, and I convert them to happy customers because we've got the right cultures and discipline and values in our business to make sure that every customer is a wow customer.
Yep.
You know what I say to every single customer when I do a quote? When my staff turns up, I don't want you to be nice. When my staff turns up, I want you to be as challenging and as difficult as you can be. People laugh at me when I say that because no one says it. Why do I say that? It keeps my values high. It keeps my outputs high. It keeps my staff on edge, not getting confused with the customer as a customer, not their best friend. It helps to drive a standard of value in our business. And let me tell you, the rewards and outcomes, I don't have complaints. We do walkthroughs with customers at the end of every job of that customer's home to say, hey, come and have a look at what we've done. This is what we've done. That's where we are. And then the customer's got the opportunity to go, no, you missed that. You didn't do that. I don't like this. Fix this, change that, that. But if you don't have the customer being strict and passionate about what they want for the money that they invest, you're not going to create a repeat business. You're going to drive away, and the customer's going to say, oh, that was all right, but you know what? I missed 3 or 4 points that I really wanted them to do, but we didn't ask the right questions, so therefore we didn't get the right outcomes in order to turn that customer to an ongoing, regular, successful customer.
That's a great advice. I'm going to ask you about what's your North Star then? What are you driving towards? Because you mentioned, is it revenue or you just want to see how far you take this thing? So it's the revenue figure, 4 mil.
Revenue. And in order to that, my business needs to evolve in discipline. My business needs to evolve in staff. Buy another 2 holidays for my wife to go on so she can relax a little bit. And then we're going to do the scheduling and we're going to find the way to get to 4 million. Next year, next year before Christmas, Joel, I want to sit down with you and I want to say, Joel, we got it. We are now a $4 million business.
Wow. Be amazing. Well, we'd love to hear that because I don't think we've ever had anyone close to that we know of anyway, in mowing and gardening, do that. That's an amazing figure. But I was going to say as well, discipline. Because discipline, everyone says, I want to be more disciplined. I'm going to start an exercise program. They stop after 2 weeks, or I want to do this for my business, and they don't come to a meeting, or they stop after 10 days of doing these things. How do you, like Jim always talks about, because he's ultra disciplined with some things, but how do you maintain that discipline to get up at 4 a.m. every day?
Put it in writing. Create a plan.
Oh,
if you don't have a plan, you're going to become wishy-washy. And live to that plan every single day. And you've got to be able to create systems to hold you accountable for that plan every single day.
Now, I guess the accountability then for you is if you don't get up at 4 a.m. or if you don't get up somewhere on time, you've let down 5 people, or that sort of, you let down all these customers. So you've got that letting down thing that for your accountability, or how else do you keep yourself accountable?
Absolutely. My staff, I've got to make sure I've got 5 families who count on me to perform in order for them to have stability in their life. I've got my family. I've got my personal development. I've got my wife's development in business. I've got my children who look at me and say, hey, Dad, we want to come to the life. We want opportunities that you can help create for us. How are we going to do that? Well, with financial freedom. In order to have financial freedom, I need to have a structured business. I need to plan and I need to execute. In order to execute, I need to have good plans and I need to be accountable. Joel, 4 o'clock every single morning, I'm in this office. Planning, managing, forecasting, budgeting, looking at systems, we take photos before and after every job, reviewing the photos from yesterday, seeing opportunities, sharing them at the toolbox meeting with the staff, making sure that we are focused and ready when our staff turns up, making sure that we are business ready. In order to have those disciplines in place, you need to be consistent. Like you say, discipline is the key culture of any successful business. Consistency in that discipline is what makes us really successful in our outcomes and successful entrepreneurs. What is the difference between a really successful entrepreneur and just the next one? Is the amount of discipline and the amount of accountability you're going to take in those 2 systems. in those two. And that is two major things as a striving businessman, person out there who's trying to make a change in the world, to make it better for them. Apply those two values and you will not go wrong.
How do you switch off then, Gerald? Because you've got a lot on your plate. How do you then switch off to the rest of mine?
So we talk about people's strengths and weaknesses, and Joel, that is my weakness. My weakness is I become so compulsive about where I want to be, I don't switch off. Because this year, we are now in the interim where we're looking at buying a caravan, just so we can go away and step away from the business for a day or two. Because people think to be successful in business, you have to work 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. That is the worst thing you can do. You need to, Joel, I actually hate being at work. I love my recreational life. So you need to make sure you have a good discipline, between your work life and your personal life. I struggle with that. I do struggle with that. And I try to create opportunities for me where I can have, in the moment, time with my wife and my family, away from the business, where the business doesn't consume me. So I'm now in the process of looking at buying a caravan for my wife and I, and a new baby, and for my kids, where we can go camping for the weekend. Because if I'm at home, if I'm in these four walls, majority of the day I'm on the computer, I'm with the staff, my wife and I is planning, or we're in the office. We need to create a better balance for ourselves. So my weakness, as Gerald, is my balance to my personal and work life needs to find a better stability. And that is something that I'm working really hard at the moment, to create better values and disciplines for myself in order to have enough time to rest. Because if I've got enough time to rest, when I need to be focusing on the ball, I'm focusing on the ball. I'm not tired and exhausted. I'm not depleted, and my focus don't break. Because if people are tired, that's where we lose systems. That's where we lose focus. That's where we lose culture. That's where we lose discipline. Is if we are tired and anything goes, you've got no more value. Let's make sure we rest enough in order to work hard enough. And that's something that I'm working very, very hard at the moment.
Well, we'll nearly go off for an hour today, Gerald. So I know you're obviously a very busy man, but I'd say this, if you're a franchisee in the region where Gerald is, and you got opportunity to get mentored by the man, bloody take it up. Don't not rock up. It's crazy that you would not rock up. And it's well done to yourself and Melita for what you've done in your business, and also coaching other franchisees if they want it. And if you are a franchisee in Gerald's region, bloody hell, please, if he's offering to help, get onto it. If you want to improve your business, it's an amazing to hear what you've done. It's a star story. I'm actually going to tell Jim about this, because we obviously quote things all the time, and be awesome to quote that one of our first franchisees that we know of has got a $2 million revenue Jim's Mowing franchise, which is absolutely an amazing achievement in itself. It's probably the most I've ever heard that someone's told us openly. And thank you for being open as well and sharing your advice, because massive inspiration to other franchisees. And it's amazing to hear. So I'm looking forward to, hopefully in another year's time, you can reach out and say, I've done 4 million revenue. Let's jump on and talk about how I did it. And I'm sure you're going to share all the things you've learned as well to building that, because it's going to be an amazing story to be able to share. We appreciate your time today, Gerald.
Okay. God bless, Joel. Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to the episode of the More Than Just Mowing podcast by Jim's Mowing. If you do need help with your local gardening expert, please give us a call on 131 546 for Australia, 0800 454 654 for New Zealand, or head to jimsmowing.com.au or jimsmowing.co.nz. If you liked what you heard, please make sure to leave us a review as well, wherever you consume your podcast. We appreciate your support. And until next episode, we hope you have a great week.